says he was offered Belal Muhammad and that Belal said no. There's a date issue. It was going to be in Salt Lake. Now, I wouldn't know. Like, Belal has not come out and spoke on this. The UFC has not come out and confirmed this. And that Salt Lake card, boy, we had a lot of rumors on that. I mean, we were certain. I want to say it even came from Helwani. Like, we were certain that was going to be Max versus Topuria. In fact, Max and Topuria were going to fight on the Noche card, so everybody believed. And they were even taken from the Noche card and put on the Salt Lake card. Like, that's a lot of details. And then when the announcement finally came, they weren't. They were going to Abu Dhabi. And out of nowhere, a rumor that had never happened, Piera Roundtree are going to Salt Lake, as well as the girls. Pretty good card. The UFC's respect that they have been showing to specifically Salt Lake is unbelievable over the last 5 years. But we now find out, or at least we're told by Rakhmonov, that he was offered Belal, and Belal did not claim to be hurt, didn't claim to have a problem or disagree with the fight, just that it was a little bit too fast. And if you do understand, Belal won his championship, went all 25 minutes with Leon. Like, that can't be a good feeling the next morning. That just wouldn't be possible to be a good feeling the next morning. And that's a pretty quick turnaround for anybody, just by normal standards. By normal standards, a champion that's 25 minutes to have a 3-month turnaround, that's quick. Aljo, and I loved it. I loved it when he did it. But from the night that he beat Henry Cejudo to the night that he was defending against O'Malley was 90 days. In fact, I think it was 90 days to the weigh-in and 91 until the fight. But the mere fact that it's that close, I think you understand my point. So it wouldn't be any egg on the face of Muhammad if he did turn it down, but it would be very interesting, and it'd be very hard to be mad at Belal. I mean, first off, that isn't the fight that he asked for, and he knows that that's a potential fight. Belal knew from Jump Street, unless Leon can grab this microphone and do something to get himself immediately back in this conversation, which is not typically a skill that Leon has, then I'm going to be standing across from Rakhmonov. And at some point, he got the idea that the public was very much behind another idea for him, which was Usman, which still, for Belal, lets him know that he is going to draw into Rakhmonov soon, just potentially not next. And one thing that I can't stand as a fan, I cannot stand it. I will turn on a guy, I can love him, I could have followed his career, I will turn on him instantly, is once he gets up in the loft, he pulls the ladder up behind him. So nobody else can get up there. A guy wants to fight, he wants to be busy, and he's begging for fights, and he's begging to stay busy, and you know what, they listen, they actually give him fights. He gets fights at a faster rate than most other guys. Because he wants it, and he's willing to ask for it, and he's willing to do it. He's got this great attitude, and he never has to get ready because he stays ready, and he's in striking distance of weight. He's a true professional. And the second he gets the belt, all of a sudden, he wants to start doing the thinking. If you ever find yourself as a fighter saying the expression, it's what makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, if you're ever on the topic and you feel that the word sense comes out of your mouth, you're going down the wrong road. You need to know that. You got to catch yourself. If a manager, if a coach, if they ever tell you what makes sense, it's all that makes sense. Hey, that doesn't even make sense. If they ever say it, that's not your guy. Your job is, you want to know what makes sense? You want to know what makes sense? What is done? What is already past the bar? The litmus test is the numbers you don't see. The smell test, it's past everything that you don't have access to. Do you want to know when? When your phone rings and the second floor of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, located in southern Las Vegas, in the state of Nevada, tells you the idea. That is when you know it makes sense. Not when your manager says it, not when your social media tells you it. Not when you come to the conclusion yourself. The day you will know that it makes sense is the day that the phone call and they tell you what the idea is. And I will share that because so many guys, but the moment they get to that spot, they won't do it anymore. And you know what? I can't do that to Belal Muhammad. That is not the case. It just simply is not the case. If you go, and I don't want tit for tat. I don't want to start keeping score here. That's not my message. I'm just sharing for you. If you look at what Belal had to do to get that belt, it was an ask almost unlike no other. I don't believe there was a harder path to the belt than the one Belal went on. There might be some close equals, in all fairness, Leon's path. But I don't know that there has ever been harder, more risk, more favors, more airplanes, more different countries, different continents, different victories from main event to undercard. I don't know that there was more that had to be done, and that also included some breaks, some meaningful gaps in between competitions. So, if the Chael test, and I'll turn on a guy fast, I'll turn on him like a rattlesnake, but if the Chael test is, do you behave the same way now as champion as when you were trying to become champion? Are you giving the same opportunity and favors? Are you saying yes as many times on the phone when it rings as you hoped the other person would say yes when you were the one making the call? I have to give Belal a full pass. To turn him around in 3 months, I don't remember a time outside of a favor with a massive risk. I can't remember a time where Belal got fights 3 months apart. So I must say, I would understand. And you have the other side of it, which is that information accurate? Because this is the second time in a week that a top guy has given us information in a way that no other top guy has ever given us information, right? I mean, Alex Pereira reveals for us that Ankalaev turned him down. And Pereira really had no reason to say that, and that's not really in line with his history in terms of trolling or having some fun. It's just not in line. I personally believe that Alex Pereira personally believes that happened, that he was told that happened. I also think that he was told wrong or there was a misunderstanding. Now, I only bring that to you because that was 3 days ago. And now we've got Rakhmonov, who did not come to the media with this. He did not come out with the information of I was offered a title shot. It didn't happen. I'm still getting it. I am officially next. That's what the offer was about. We're just working on a date. He didn't do any of those things. As a matter of fact, we're lucky that this statement even came up. Rakhmonov was doing an interview with someone else. And partway through it, this gets set down on the table. It was not at all his intent or point. As a matter of fact, he could have skipped right over it. His day would have been just fine. I'm not certain that he was destined to go out and get this interview and get this information delivered. I don't think so. He set it down almost like it was a nothing, but it's not a nothing. If you're offered the fight and there's no other fights that take place, there's nobody with an injury that's sitting out that you're waiting to get better, then you're next. If you're offered the fight, you are now next. So that is something you really want to drive home. That is a ball you would like to put in Belal's court. That is the commitment that you would like him to make. And Rakhmonov didn't put Belal in a position where he has to respond to it at all. It wasn't strong enough. And I don't think Rakhmonov in the least made this up. I think he was told this. I must tell you, I'm torn between is that accurate information or was it a misunderstanding? But if that happened, if that information is accurate, and Rakhmonov is speaking in a tone in an interview of which he did speak in, and he is not declaring that he's next. He's not declaring anywhere in here that now all we need is a date. We've got the opponents. We just need a date. He mentioned it as though that happened and now we'll see what's next, which is a bizarre response, but it doesn't make it an accurate response, and I would like a little bit of clarity.